Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this. Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Every time I say it, it's going to suck even more.
Everyone's idiots.
I am Nadella. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I am here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hi.
And we are here to talk all things tech this week. And boy, howdy, we are going to do that. We have... Did you like
boy,
that?
Howdy.
Boy, howdy.
Gonna
That's what
do
we're
that
gonna do.
thing that we're here for.
Come on. I got to make it a little more eventful. Speaking of events, there was an event. We have this up here on the docket here. We're going to get into this. Samsung Galaxy XR.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Not to be confused with the iPhone XR. They are, in fact, not related. Just
Throw
to be
that
clear.
out there.
That is
turns
true.
out this whole time, that's what that iPhone was. It was an extended reality iPhone, and we just
That's
didn't
what it
realize it. Oh my gosh. It just now clicked. Apple. They were like 10 years ahead with that thing.
That's why it was so bad at XR.
That's why.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways, now we know why the event was the Galaxy event, because yes, another Galaxy product from Samsung, which again, we all kind of assumed was the case. Samsung Galaxy XR, this is what has been known as Project Muhan for the past year and a half. It's the Vision Pro competitor made by Samsung with software made by Android. It's the Android XR platform. And I mean, we've talked about this a few times in the last year. And really, there's nothing new about this product other than we now know the name is the Samsung Galaxy XR. And we also know the price. And actually, I'm not disappointed in the price here. It is still expensive, but it's not $3,500.
Apple makes everyone look good. Just
That's fair, especially on the pricing side of things. They absolutely make everyone look much better. This one is $1,800, which again, not horrible for what it is. I'm actually surprised it's not more than that, because it is basically a Vision Pro headset, but running Android XR. And doesn't have the stupid display on the front. It does have...
that's where all the money is going on the
Yes.
Apple one. It's that ridiculous creepy eye display on the
Yeah.
front. That costs like $2,000 right there. You
obviously.
know?
I mean, it does still have glass on the front, but it doesn't have the weird, goofy looking eye display thing there. But I mean, honestly, all the videos I've seen of people using this, software-wise, it is extremely similar to what Apple's doing with their stuff. But I think there's two things that Google has done better when it comes to the software side of things. One of which is they have a YouTube app.
Hey.
So that automatically makes it there's just way more content all of a sudden because there's YouTube, and there are 360-degree videos on YouTube, have been for 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
So that's nice. And then the other thing is Gemini is inside of Android XR. And like I said last week, having the ability to speak to something that is actually responsive and works on a fairly regular basis is really beneficial in this type of platform. And that's something Apple's may never have. We don't know if Siri will ever be good enough to do that. They say it's
I think
coming.
we know.
I don't believe them.
I think Yeah, I think we're pretty confident on that point.
Yeah. So honestly, those are really the two big and well, also Android XR, Google says any Android app is compatible, which yes, you could probably use any Android app inside of this thing and it will work. But is the experience going to be that great? Probably not for most. Google has made a lot of their apps actually optimized for this experience, like the Galaxy XR, Android XR experience. So those are going to be better. But it's kind of the same thing with Vision OS. You can use any iPad app. It's just some are going to be better optimized than others. Because obviously. So that's the big thing here. One thing that Samsung did that was worse than Apple, in my opinion, was using a Qualcomm chip. Not because it's a bad chip, just because it has the dumb... again, it's Qualcomm. They have to name things horribly. Like, they're almost as bad as Sony when it comes to naming products. Like, this chip is called the Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2.
Ouch.
So where was the XR1 Gen anything? XR2 Gen 1?
Don't know.
Qualcomm, you do know you don't have to use the internal code name for the actual product launch name, right? Like, right? They know this. Somebody told them.
I don't think so.
They just missed that email every single time. It's like, no, you don't actually have to use the internal code names. Wow.
Yeah. Every time.
Yeah.
They are, I feel like they must be farming out their naming to Sony, like you said. I don't know anybody else who names stuff worse than Sony, but Qualcomm sure is giving them a run for it. Like,
yep. At least Sony is just using random numbers and letters to make their names.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. It's not the best option, but it's not the worst. Whereas Qualcomm's just like XR2 Plus Gen 2. It's like this is somebody's password if they have to reset it at work. It's got to have a capital. It's got to have a symbol. It's got to have a number. That's what this is. It's got to be at least 10 digits long,
Yeah.
That's what Qualcomm does when they name things. They're like, okay, what's our password? Okay, there we go.
Sony names things using the cell on a spreadsheet that they're tracking that item with. And Qualcomm is naming stuff by just, asking an ADHD adolescent, a riddled 13-year-old what he thinks about stuff. It's just, there's not enough medication to describe exactly what Qualcomm is doing.
Yeah.
I will say, I think that this headset, the price is much better, still kind of pricey.
Right.
I think that given the Qualcomm chip powering it with some custom chips designed by Samsung and just kind of the track record in terms of overall, shall we say, compatibility that they have had in the past, I think that this thing, compared to the Vision Pro, which is really what they're competing against, probably going to have a significantly more cohesive feeling software experience. Like, everything I've seen about it, this thing makes a lot more sense than Vision Pro does.
Yeah.
But I do think that in terms of the polish, the fluidity and stuff like that, especially as a quote unquote mixed reality headset, being able to get up and walk around with it and that kind of thing, I suspect the Vision Pro is going to be a lot more fluid. This one is probably going to be more prone to making people motion sick and stuff like that, which means that if you're going to, like most people do with these things, sit down in front of a computer and use it for extended displays for your normal computer use, get this one because it costs less and the overall software experience is probably going to be it's just going to be more cohesive. But if you want to drive your Cybertruck down the highway in Utah County while wearing your mixed reality headset, stick to the Vision Pro. Also, I hope that dude listens to this podcast at some point, because we're back to it again. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen anybody do behind the wheel of a vehicle.
And that includes just driving a Cybertruck in general.
It does, which, as we have talked about several times over the past month, just a bad idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but like all the videos I've seen about this headset, and this includes the very first hands-on videos that people got back in January, everyone says it's like, it is basically a Vision Pro, but just running Android XR. And they also, literally everyone says how much lighter this thing feels while they're wearing it, because it's not all aluminum. And it doesn't have a secondary display that doesn't do anything.
I was going to say, it's missing that $2,000 eye display with its fancy lens that makes it look like your eyeballs have been, like, sucked into a void attached to the front of your face. I've never seen a scarier, like, real-life eye effect than that. Like, Hollywood, eat your heart out. Apple is doing it better right there. That's just...
Yeah. So, I mean, if you ever were curious and contemplated for some weird reason about a Vision Pro, but you definitely didn't want to spend $3,500, and you just happen to have $1,800 lying around, you should sign up for our Patreon. And then, if you have a little more after that, you can maybe buy this Galaxy XR and give it a try.
I was going to say, like, if you also just have $1,800 lying around, man, there's like laptops, you get an iPad, they're real nice, like a folding phone. I can't think of many things I wouldn't recommend spending $1,800 on over this headset. But that might just be because I think the whole concept of mixed reality headsets is completely half-baked and pointless in its current iteration.
Yeah, especially because, like, I think the main goal for most of these companies, and it's kind of proven out to be, especially with Apple, because they've moved people around in the Vision Pro department, to be working on more of a glasses style headset to try to compete with Meta. And just, I think that's like, because most people don't want to walk around or even just sit at home wearing something this large to, for anything really. Yeah. Whereas glasses, you can wear those in more places and they're way more usable in general, just the way they work and stuff. So I think that's the goal. So this is kind of just the really big and expensive stepping stone to the end game of the smaller, more user-friendly technology that's coming.
Yeah, I will say, though, I do think that these companies like Samsung and Apple that are used to selling their products on the order of millions a year are probably in for a rude awakening, even when they do get to the point of selling smart glasses and discover that most people just don't want that at all. Like, they don't want to walk around with a camera on their face ever. So they're not going to buy even the smart glasses, no matter how slick you make them and no matter what features you put into them. It's just not a thing the majority of people are interested in this day and age. Like, maybe if you keep pushing it, you might be able to get, like, society and the human race as a whole to move that far in another 20, 30, 50 years kind of thing. But it doesn't seem like a this decade sort of thing. And these companies that are used to selling, Apple sells an iPhone like every half second kind of thing. That I don't think they're going to be too pleased with how the smart glasses sell. And they just haven't realized it because I guess nobody asked Meta.
Yeah.
Like, nobody went and asked them, hey, how well do those Ray-Bans sell? Just to find out that, we've sold, since we introduced them, somewhere on the order of 15, 20,000 total.
Yep.
Oh, we sell that many iPhones every single day.
Yeah. I mean, that could also be to the point that most people that know about these glasses, like Meta glasses, are also the type of people that are very wary of Facebook in general. So they're like, yeah, I'm not buying that one. I'm gonna wait.
I mean, that's true. That's true. It seems like pretty much everybody who has Meta Ray-Bans are people who were already like compulsively filming and recording everything they did with their phone anyhow. So this is just making it a hands-free experience.
Yeah.
They're all influencers and YouTubers and TikTokers and stuff like that. Okay. I kind of see where the glasses make sense for them. That's a pretty dang small market though, and I feel like Facebook's cornered it effectively.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, Samsung Galaxy XR. It is available now to purchase from Samsung. Like I said, $1,800, and it does. Like I'm seeing pictures of this with controllers of some sort. I don't know if it comes with those controllers or not, if they're an accessory, but at least they have them at launch, and they're not made by a third party that you have to spend an extra $500 for, like Apple's.
Yeah.
So that's also another bonus. But yeah, so like I said, $1,800. It's expensive, but much, 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 much better than $3,500. And it is a step up from the $500 you would be spending for like a Quest 3. And you're getting away from Meta, again, benefit.
Never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Never a bad thing. Ugh. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. I don't know if this is going to be good news or better news, but we're going to have some Apple news here. Big thanks to all our listeners for not buying the iPhone Air.
Yeah. Listener, when we talked about the iPhones from this year, and I issued the specific request to A, just buy the normal iPhone because that's by far the best bang for your buck, or B, if you really want the fancy one with the new battery design and stuff, to get the Pro and just not buy the Air. I really appreciate you all evidently listening and following through with that advice, because apparently the iPhone Air has been selling poorly enough that Apple is reportedly going to be cutting the production of it about in half.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 50-60% production number cut. And they're going to be shifting almost all of that production over to just the vanilla iPhone, which has been selling like gangbusters.
Weird.
So it's, yeah, it is by far the best value iPhone. I think that makes sense. But the Pro is outselling the Air in a big way. This is a trend that has happened each of the past five years, I think, with the iPhone, where both of the Plus models on the past two generations of iPhone had their, they were estimated to sell fairly low quantities, but they still overestimated how many of them they would need, and they had their supply cut shortly after launch. And that also happened with both of the mini models on the 12 and 13 as well. So this is just a case of Apple needs to just accept that whatever this weird extra model that they offer is going to be, it's not going to sell well. Whether it be a bigger screen or a smaller screen or, I don't know, thinner. Do people want thinner? No, Apple. People just want a normal iPhone. Just make a good iPhone and then a Pro with big cameras on it for people that just really want a ball. I guess. I don't I don't know. But yeah, that's all. Just chiming in to say thanks. Appreciate y'all listening and not buying the Air. It turns out the Samsung super thin phone also not been selling particularly well, to the point where Samsung evidently, despite already having the next generation version of this phone essentially done, it's designed, it's like ready to go through manufacturing trials and be sent to the assemblers and whatnot. Samsung just canceled it and retasked the entire team that was working on it to do other stuff. So Samsung's given up on it. Apple is not having a great time with it either. And I hope that it doesn't see another year. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I mean, well, at least Samsung, utilized the technology to give us a really thin and nice folding phone on top of that.
That's
Whereas
true.
Apple has yet to do that. We assume that the technology used in this iPhone Air is because it's what's being utilized to make an iPhone fold of some sort. But we don't know that for sure because they haven't given us that. Whereas Samsung is like, hey, we got this ridiculously thin folding phone that when it's closed is the same thickness as a regular phone. And also, because we were able to do that, we made a really thin regular phone that you're not going to want, but we have it for you anyways.
Turns out it has half the battery capacity of the folding phone. You
Weird.
don't say. Never mind then. We're all good. And it's the funny thing is I have heard people say stuff like, oh man, the iPhone Air is so cool. Every single one of them, without being prompted, feels like they have to justify the battery life. And I'm just like, the fact that you yourself feel this way suggests to me that you will not be using this phone after 12 months from now. The new lineup is going to launch. You're going to buy a new phone. You're not going to admit that it's because your past year with the iPhone Air has been a tiny slice of hell, just living from outlet to outlet. But we all know.
Yeah.
We all know.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into some general tech news. First on the here is Wreck-It Ralph 3. Amazon breaks the internet.
yeah, the sequel nobody wanted.
That's pretty funny, actually.
So, listener, I'm not sure if you noticed half of the services you use on the internet not working at the beginning of this past week.
Yeah.
But they weren't. Isn't that fun? That whole experience was for me kind of miraculous because it displayed to me just how few of the services I actually use rely on AWS. Almost none of them. Pretty much everything I do is hinged off of Google, Apple, or I guess Azure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or,
to be fair with that also, it was one data center for AWS they have multiple throughout the country, and there was one that went down, and so from what I understand, there was still a lot of what AWS does do wasn't down, but this one was just a lot of big apps that people use.
Yeah. Well, so this one data center was responsible for some of the traffic that was coming from the other data centers as well. So it was the kind of thing where some services were completely down, like totally shut down, did not work anymore. And that caused a lot of people issues. Other things were not necessarily down, but they were, in terms of actual capacity, restricted, right? Stuff was moving slower. Stuff was not as responsive as you expect it to be on the modern internet. So yeah, but it's a big thing. AWS had a significant outage in one of their data centers that affected a large portion of the internet. Not necessarily surprising. In terms of all of the traffic on the internet, it's pretty much all either AWS or Azure, if it is not something affiliated with a giant corporation like Apple or Google, who have their own discrete data centers for their own services. Netflix uses AWS, Disney uses AWS, I'm pretty sure, for Disney Plus and Hulu and all that stuff. So it's it's a big deal. The one that the one that I actually really love that did get people kind of talking along these lines was the Sleep Pod people.
Yeah.
What's the name of that company? I can't remember.
Eight
Can't remember their name. 8 Sleep. That's the one.
Yeah.
And because they have their adjustable bed frames and their temperature controlled sleep pods for mattresses. which are, by all accounts, pretty dang effective at, helping you sleep and like regulating temperature and stuff like that. Also, come to find out, completely uncontrollable if you can't connect to the cloud.
Yep.
Oh,
And their entire service went down with this outage on Amazon's web services. And so people were not able to adjust the angle of their beds. They were not able to adjust or control the temperatures of their beds, meaning some of these people were literally cooking in their beds because the thing was adjusted too hot. And it's like, you have to basically at that point dismantle your mattress and remove the thing. Like, it's just
wow.
take all the sheets off and then remove the entire water-filled cover for it, which I think, unless I'm completely wrong, zips like it's a complete mattress surround. You have to unzip the side of it and physically remove the mattress from this pod before you can. Anyways,
Wow. I didn't know that.
this whole thing, which did get people to ask the question, why does this need to be connected to the internet to function?
Yeah.
And 8 Sleep's response to this was to reassure their customers that they will be adding an outage mode to their products via update that will allow people to adjust this stuff in the event of an outage without being able to connect to the internet. Which, of course, begs the question, can I just turn that on all the time?
Yeah.
Can I just have that
Yeah.
be the default functionality? Maybe just 100% outage mode? Like, what happens if I open up your hardware, find the Wi-Fi chipset on the board that controls this thing, and stab it with a screwdriver? Is it just always going to be in outage mode? Can I then just use it like I own the product instead of am renting it from you? You freaking psychopaths.
Now, and
Just-
I wouldn't be surprised if the next version of their newest, latest, and greatest 8 Sleep product is going to have offline capabilities where it will still function completely like normal. Like, it'll do all the sleep tracking and heating and cooling and all that stuff, but offline. That'll be the next version. And you have to buy the new one because it's a hardware issue that's really not a hardware issue.
That's extremely charitable of you. I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think so
I
either, but I
suspect-
wouldn't be completely shocked if it happened.
I suspect that they'll just continue, like, to use that thing to its fullest extent, you have to pay a monthly subscription fee. It's
Yeah.
a racket, which is why I have never recommended it to a single person. It's just like, I love the idea that technology is super cool. Like, the implementation of it is really good. It seems like a great product if you didn't have to pay a monthly subscription for most of the functionality, and if you could still control it when it's not connected to their stupid app.
Yeah.
I just, man, tech these days, like, what the actual heck? So yeah,
Oh.
This is how I feel about like most smart home things in general, is it's all like, hey, does it work if it's not connected to the cloud? Because if not, I'm not even going to look at it.
Man, that sucks. I feel bad for those people in their beds.
Right?
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about something else here. AMD gets tired of kicking Intel while they're down, but, decides to finish the job.
Finish him!
Yes. We're just going to take them out back. Yeah, so it's been a minute, listener, since Intel has made a processor that was, shall we say, competitive with anything AMD was selling. The most current generation of Intel processors just don't even get mentioned in the same breath as their price competitive AMD counterparts because only an idiot would buy them at this stage. It's rough. It's rough being Intel. And AMD, who already have the best consumer CPU on the market, that is simultaneously also the best gaming CPU on the market, was just like, why not better? And they announced it's the 9950 X3D2. So
Naming.
the 9950, right? That's their top of the line 16 core
Mhm.
processor, Ryzen processor. X3D means that it has X3D V-cache on, or, okay, 9950X, I guess, means it's the top of the line. Oh, geez, the naming. 9950X means it's the top of the line 16
You
core
got
CPU.
this. You got
It's
this.
got the 3D on the end of it, so X3D, but the 3D means 3D V-cache, right? So it has a 3D V-cache enabled CCD on the die that enables, or that adds just a ton of, is it level 3 cache, I'm pretty sure, to the CPU. And that helps a lot with gaming workloads in particular. And the 2 on the end of it, now for this new one, means that it has a second 3D V-cache enabled CCD on the processor, right? So these 16 core chips, the 12 and 16 core processors from AMD, have 2 little chiplets on them, 2 separate dies that are each either 6 cores or 8 cores, depending on if it's the 12 core or the 16 core version. They have 2, and that's how they get to the 12 and 16, right? That's just how they build their processors. With the X3D stuff, the 3D V-cache, in the past, what you've been able to do, what they do is they put one of those cores with 3D V-cache on it because, I don't know, there was probably some kind of engineering reason for it, but that is, that was the difference. This new version now has both CCDs have 3D V-cache. And that means that this thing is going to have like 190 megs of third level cache, which is, to be clear, listener, that's more third level cache on the processor itself than the first computer that I owned had RAM. Okay?
Jeez.
So, like, the first computer I used had a smaller hard drive than that. Right? So, like, this is within my lifetime, which, to be clear, as far as people who use computers, I'm a little bit on the older end of things. We're not exactly youths, I suppose, here on this
Yeah.
podcast. But the very first computer that I remember using, my old family computer, had, I want to say, 100 meg hard drive in it, which was not a lot. And the first computer that I ever owned was, it was a hand-me-down from one of my uncles when I was a kid and stuff like that. And it had, I want to say, like 75 megs of RAM or something like that. Like it did not have a ton of RAM. And this is the third level cache on the actual CPU itself, 190 megs of RAM. So it, obviously they haven't launched this thing yet. They have just announced it, but it is hard to imagine that this is going to hurt the gaming performance of this processor. So great. Intel was doing nothing to catch up, and AMD was just like, well, that's fine. We'll just compete with ourselves, I guess.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is great. I'm glad they're still doing that. The only problem is they're not really competing with themselves on price, unfortunately. So still not necessarily great for the consumer. Intel, please get well soon.
True. It's true,
Intel.
We do need you.
Anytime now, if you could. But yeah, that's coming from AMD. Wild, but okay.
Jeez. Well, Intel, we do need you. Let's go ahead and move on. We're going to talk about some gaming news. First on here, the best way to experience an Xbox ROG Ally X is Linux.
Yeah, so we were all a little curious, I'm sure, when the reviews of the ROG Ally X started coming out, and it's all like, hey, look, this is the best handheld gaming PC hardware that you can get. It's the fastest. It's awesome. And if that's what you're looking for, then okay, $1,000 isn't exactly like cheap, but it's that's what you got to pay, I guess, for the best. Turns out, it is a PC, right? It's a handheld PC.
Yep.
x86
What it
processor and everything. You can just uninstall Windows from it and load on a Linux distribution like, say, Bazite. And that gives you an experience that is quite similar to SteamOS. Not identical, but pretty dang close. Turns out, yeah, you get more frames if you're playing games on
by a
Linux.
lot. Is it a lot? I didn't see.
It depends on the game. The games that were tested, that I saw tested, were kind of like, some of them you were getting like an 8% increase, right? You were getting, it's still a handheld PC. You're getting an increase of like maybe 5 to 10 FPS. But some of them, it was like 45 to 50% uplift.
Oof.
just by going to Linux. It seemed like the biggest difference is the game a Linux native executable, in which case you're getting the 45 to 50% boost over Windows, or is it a Windows executable that is being translated to Linux on the fly by Proton, essentially.
Right.
And in those cases, you were looking at more like a more negligible difference, 5 to 10% increase, which for some of these games, you're talking about an FPS increase from 40 FPS to 43 FPS kind of thing. It's not, almost feels margin of error, probably not going to be that noticeable. But what is going to be pretty dang noticeable? Not having to install Windows updates. Not having to deal with Windows 11's sleep and power management issues. Having a thing that was actually built from the ground up for a handheld mode instead of, yes, you do have the new Windows Xbox handheld mode, which is better, but still not as good as something that was built that way from the ground up, because it is still just a skin over top of Windows 11.
It's true.
So it's oops. Best version of this doesn't have anything to do with an Xbox at all. So that's rough for Xbox. But on the plus side, if you have kernel level anti-cheat, you're stuck with Windows 11 anyways.
Yeah.
So is that an upside? I'm not sure. I guess maybe the upside is for Microsoft, not for you, listener, as a user of devices. Maybe just avoid games that have kernel level anti-cheat, which honestly is like most things from EA. Which, like, man, a month ago would have been a really easy recommendation to make, but it does look like Battlefield 6 is a pretty good game. Which sort of sucks, because it used to be really easy to just be like, just don't play anything by EA. But man, Battlefield,
Yeah.
Tough choice, listener. Battlefield 6 or a better experience in literally every other way. Only you can decide.
Only you can decide. Go, Joe. All right. Next topic here, we're going to talk about Microsoft. And Microsoft they reportedly, quote unquote, asked its Xbox division to deliver 30% profit margins. Listener, so Bloomberg, they were the ones that revealed this and said that the chief financial officer, Amy Hood, decided to put a 30% profit margin target for Xbox divisions. Hence the price hikes, hence the consoles going up twice on there, and the $1,000 ROG Ally X. So just kind of put this in perspective. We were talking about this. We've talked about Microsoft now wanting Xbox to pay back the debt of the $69 billion. Well, I guess it's more 69 plus 7.5 plus whatever other the studios.
Yes.
There's big loan, and they're wanting the money back for their AI. Just kind of quick little numbers here. It says that the average profit margin in the video game industry in recent years has ranged between 17% and 22%, according to the estimates of the S&P Global Market. Xbox actually came in between 10 and 20% over the past 6 years. So this is why Game Pass is going up, and yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really frustrating to me that a business that has been operating with between 10 and 20% profitability year over year for the past decade, and some executive somewhere went, you know what? That's just not enough money. You need to be even more profitable.
Yeah.
And if we were to sit that executive down and ask them why, the reason would almost certainly be that the reason they would say out loud would almost certainly be
out loud
to make more money for our shareholders. The reason that they are thinking in their brain is to make more money for me. In either case, either one of those answers comes down to greed. The people that we are serving are not the customers that are giving us money, but it is in fact the shareholders that are buying shares of our company, which, to be fair, I guess that is giving the company money as well. The difference is they gave them money at some point, and now the company is beholden to them to make them more money because cool. Forever, onward and upward, in a world with finite resources, you have to never stop making money. It's just the whole thing baffling to me. Giant corporations are silly. 10 to 20% profitability for every year of the past decade, which includes, listener, I'm not sure if you are aware of this, a global pandemic.
Yep.
I think that's a great track record. And honestly, Microsoft should have just let Xbox keep doing what they were doing. Just let them keep going. Like,
yep.
Gosh dang it, man.
Yep.
The division as a whole was profitable. You didn't have to ruin their all the goodwill the community had for them to make money off of them. You just had to let them keep doing it.
Yep. Yep. I'm not happy either. But getting those numbers, that I was pretty shocked about. But anywho, that listener, I wanted to report on that to kind of give that. You can take a look at that Bloomberg article. It goes into more details of everything. But yeah,
I just had another thought. This is a psychotic number, this 30% they're pulling out, when Nintendo has evidently not been more profitable than 22%. If Nintendo can't do better than 22% profit margins on the crap they sell, Xbox, you ain't never gonna see 30%. There's no way in space.
God, it's just, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Just because as we start revealing things and thinking about it, it just hurts even more.
Yep.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when you think about it, Microsoft is predominantly a software company, and they make, the amount of money they make off software is ridiculous. The margins are just, 80% after a year of being on the market. So when they see 20% from Xbox, like, how is it so low? It should be at least this.
It's because they actually produce things over at Xbox, Microsoft.
They give a physical
They don't just
product.
sell subscriptions to the same software you've been making since the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Speaking of redoing software since 2000, what do we say? 3? Anyway, so the Halo is back. Is it 2003? Holy cow.
I think so.
Halo. They came out with a game called Halo Combat Evolved. First was actually being made by Bungie we're having a little history lesson right here, for the Mac.
Oh, you're doing the history lesson before we even announce what we're talking about?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And then, I got to say the years. Okay, let me keep going on this. Okay, then a couple of years later, almost. Let's see, because it was Microsoft bought them. or bought Bungie, and then decided that to launch the Xbox, the OG Xbox, they needed a killer app, which this app was Halo Combat Evolved. Big old, sold hundreds of softwares, consoles, made Xbox a thing, this game. Well, it's going to be 25 years coming up here with Halo here. Guess what? They decided they're going to redo the campaign of Halo Combat Evolved. They're actually going to call it Halo Campaign Evolved. And they're redoing all the art assets and everything in Unreal Engine 5. They went ahead and put a demo out, a level demo. I cannot remember what level it was. Let me see. I did not write it down, but they did do where someone just walked through like a trailer into the whole level in the new graphics, and you can kind of see Chief is actually running, aiming down sights, kind of modernized the Halo Campaign Evolved. And it is coming out next year to Xbox, Steam, ready for it, and PlayStation.
Yep.
Now, listener, if you're one that's sitting there thinking like, well, I would not have thought they would put Halo Camp. Listen. I need you to listen. They're gonna put it everywhere. They've been saying this for a while. Just accept. We're gonna have to accept that Halo and all the big. What's the big ones for Microsoft? I mean, they already put Forza on PlayStation. They've already put Gears on PlayStation. Let's see. Halo is the next big one, and I guess Fable was pretty big. I'm going to assume Fable.
Yeah.
The next one. So
does Fable still count as a big Xbox tentpole? Given
it
that nothing has
was
been done with the franchise in like 15 years.
It was. I mean, you think Fable, you think Xbox. It wasn't anything. But I'm just saying, I think the trend is going to be the next Fable game is going to be out everywhere. Yep. It is, like I said, Xbox. Now, when I say Xbox, I'm also including the Xbox PC. Okay, just anything Xbox, it's going to be out. PlayStation and Steam. I did not see it on Epic Store.
Oh, that means I won't be able to get it for free. Dang it.
True. What they're doing is they're just redoing the campaign in there. You're going to be able to do the up to 4. I think. Well, did they say 4-player co-op? It is co-op. Yes. I don't remember if it's 4-player. Anywho.
Yeah, it's 4-player online co-op.
Yep.
I'm looking at the Steam page for it right now.
Okay, good. Okay. I was like, okay. And then, but it is not, they're not doing the multiplayer. It's only the co-op and the co-op campaign is what they're doing. So, so they're delivering new 4K visuals, just updated animations, remastered music, and re-recorded voice lines. So just kind of bringing Halo forward. So there you go. Yep. Why is this big? I'm assuming. To me, when I see this, I'm happy because then I can play with friends, and I don't have to be like, "Hey, you have to have an Xbox." Can you just like, no, we can just play.
There was a whole wave of people like playing, streaming, and reacting to Halo, like the original Halo campaign.
Yeah,
when they released the Master Chief Collection with the updated visuals for Combat Evolved.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that triggered a whole cycle of that. And as a person who played Halo back in the mid-noughts, that was so much fun to watch because like you just go to YouTube right now and just Google like so-and-so sees the flood for the first time. And those reactions, man, those were great. Like that was such an awesome moment in that campaign. So I think that this is probably going to trigger yet another wave of people reacting to seeing the flood for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm totally here for it. It's honestly one of those formative FPS experiences that existed in my life that I kind of wish I could wipe my mind of what happens in the Halo campaign so that I could go back and experience it again. It was so fun. It's like level 2, like class 2 fun. I was not enjoying it in the moment because I was like crapping my pants. But no,
Yeah.
it was great. It was so great. Such a vibe shift in that game, and I love it.
I guess that is an update though if it's the 4-player co-op, because I think the original you can only do 2-player.
The original had no co-op at all.
Really?
And I
Yeah, I was
don't
wrong
think
then.
they changed that for the Master Chief Collection either. I think it was still just the single player. They added 2-player co-op to the campaign for Halo 2. Came out like a year and a half after, or no, 3 years after the original Halo. But yeah. Yep. And I will say I have seen so many hot takes from people on the internet over the past week about this, and so many people that are just pissed at Xbox for releasing the original Halo on PlayStation, on Steam, all this stuff. What happened to an Xbox exclusive? And here's the thing. I think that you can make that argument. You can have that fight over a lot of things that Xbox has done over the past year and change. Forza, as an example. Gears of War, another great example. But Halo is the weirdest place to try and plant that flag. If they were bring, like remaster Halo 2 again for some reason and bring that around to PlayStation 5, you can get mad when that happens. But the original Halo was designed originally for Macs. The first time anybody saw any gameplay of what would end up becoming Halo, it was a completely different game at the time, but it was under development by Bungie, and it was being bankrolled by Apple. It was introduced on stage by Steve Jobs in like 2000 or something like that, as a way to show off the power of, I think, the G4 Power Max or something like that. This game was designed for Macs first. Then Bungie was bought by Microsoft. They fast-tracked an Xbox port of it so that it was ready for the release of the original Xbox, and then they finished the Mac port and released it on Mac afterwards, right? This is a game that I played while everybody else that I grew up with was playing it on an Xbox on my G4 Power Mac.
Yep.
Back in the mid-noughts, because it was an Apple game as well. This was never really a console exclusive, Combat Evolved. Halo 2 was, yes, absolutely. But Halo 1 was not. So putting this on the PlayStation, okay, whatever. They didn't announce a Mac port of it. Maybe I should be offended by that.
That would be actually kind of cool if it had the Apple logo there or something. At the end.
They should make a Mac port of this thing, because it was a Mac game originally.
That would be funny.
Bizarre history lesson for you, listener. Just kind of tack this on here at the end. Probably that was easier then than it would be now, given that the original Xbox was running the same type of processor as Macs were at the time.
True. Yeah,
they were using PowerPC architecture in the original Xbox and in the Macs of the period, which is weird. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. I may very well buy it because, yeah, I do have quite a lot of nostalgia for the campaign of this game. And, I played through a good chunk of it when the Master Chief Collection dropped on Game Pass, but the visuals weren't, I don't know. I didn't like it. Didn't look right to me. Didn't feel right. So I'm hopeful that this is, since it's a complete rebuild and all the art assets are being updated and everything, I'm hoping this will feel a little bit more impactful.
Yeah. If I remember, so Halo Combat Evolved had an update before, because if I remember, they redid it on the 360 and sold it as its own thing on the 360. And then when Xbox One came out and they did the Master Chief Collection, they just kind of took that port.
Oh, was it the 360
and then
port?
moved it to there and gave it the update to move to the one. And then and so this is so it's
with the one that's in the Master Chief Collection is, they have the original visuals and the updated visuals, and you can swap back and forth between the two. And it
I
really
will
comes
say
down
that was
to,
pretty fun to do that.
It
like,
was.
back and forth.
but you can tell because of that, it's the same game engine,
Mm-hmm.
and they've just updated the textures and stuff like that. And that just, I don't know, it wasn't putting a new coat of paint on my nostalgia the way that a true remake does. You know,
Right.
with remakes like this, what I'm really looking for is not for them to just refresh the textures or something like that. I want them to redesign the game to feel modern.
Did you actually watch the video?
What
Did you
video?
watch it?
Oh, the trailer?
the-
No,
yeah.
I didn't actually. I mean, like I said, I'm on the Steam page right here, and I'm looking at the pictures and video clips they've got on here, and it looks pretty sick, I've got to say. And like you said, it feels modernized. You know, it feels like this is a modernized FPS. It's kind of like I went and played the original System Shock years and years after the fact, and stuff like that. I'm not, when somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to remake something like System Shock," I don't want them to just put a new coat of paint on it, because the gameplay itself felt so outdated, so bad. And I want it to be updated to match my modern sensibilities of how a game feels to play, because I want you to basically remake it with my nostalgia in mind, not with authenticity in mind. I want you to make it authentic for me now versus what I thought it was then.
Fair.
That's what I'm looking for, and that's what it looks like they're doing here. So I am very interested in this.
If it comes out, you're going to play the campaign with me?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I think that'd be
It would
kind of fun.
It would be sick if we could find somebody to drag into it that has not played the campaign before, so that we can get a live reaction when the Flood first show up, because that's just
if it's
best.
4-player, we get your oldest and my oldest.
Ooh.
Get us 4 playing.
Yeah, the only trouble is I'm not sure about his computer's ability to run it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking console. I'm silly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no,
Yeah, that's right.
Not
That's
going to
right.
work. I mean, it does say as long as they do have their crossplay stuff enabled, maybe, but it's still, I don't.
That would be kind of fun to take them through it.
It would be fun. I'll have to
You got a
think on
year.
that.
Let's do it.
You got a year. Oh boy. Okay.
Maybe we'll convince Landon we'll give him a one of those 2-week Game Pass things, so he can for 2 weeks get on the cloud on his phone and get him a controller. All right, let's do this.
Oh gosh, that would be the worst way to play that game.
I know, but still, it'd be fun.
Streaming it to your phone with a controller. Okay, no.
See, when Caleb started mentioning if we could find someone that hasn't played the game, I'm like, I didn't say anything because I assumed you both meant me. But then you went a completely different direction. I'm like, oh, wow, that's surprising.
Well, but also he'll have his sweet internet coming soon too. So
yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't know. The lag.
It'd be fun to try.
You can try all you want, but I actually absolutely love the fact that I can say I have never played a single second of Halo ever.
Wait, you never did like multiplayer either?
I have never
Really?
played
like at
Halo.
somebody's house or something?
I've played like back then with the original Xbox and especially the 360. I played a lot of other games in multiplayer, like Call of Duty. Played a lot, different things like that.
Yeah.
And my friends all had Halo, but I never played it.
That's wild.
And I kind of really love the fact that I can say I've never played Halo.
Huh.
Fair.
Wow.
Fair.
I was gonna say even my wife has played Halo. Like,
yeah. Wow.
Like that's how she found out that first-person shooters make her motion sick.
That's fair.
Was Halo. So there you go.
Just. All right. Well, that Halo topic went on longer than I thought it would, but fair. All right. Well, listener, that actually brings us to the end of the episode, unless, Landon, you got one more thing for us.
No.
Oh. Didn't hear the Yahoo. That's all right, though. We'll move on. We don't have to hear it. Oh, no, he's going to do it.
No, I'm not.
Well,
I
listen
thought about it.
We appreciate you listening. If you want to get a hold of us, want to say something, want to go to the Patreon, because we have one, because you got the millions and billions, and want to subscribe, and we'll give you some whatever is on there. I can't remember what we put on there for the levels, but
Yeah, we probably ought to review that and update it.
yeah. Or if you want Caleb to review another free game, take a look at it.
Actually have intentions of doing that, but I'm going to make the video about my switch to Linux first for gaming, because I got to get that done.
That's amazing. You heard it here. He's actually making another one.
I'm making a video.
Is
Woohoo!
it possible we could get 2 in the same year?
Almost at the end of the year. Wow.
Yep.
Love it.
Definitely not 2 in the same month, though. Can't promise that.
Can't
That's not
promise
happening.
Fair. Well, listener, we appreciate you listening. Like I said, if you want to get a hold of us, you can. We're on social media platforms as well as callingallplatforms.com. If you want to check out that YouTube channel, subscribe, and be ready for when that next video hits. You can hit that ding or whatever that bell thing is or whatever they say. You can always do that. All right, listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.